Good afternoon, class. Today we are going to be conducting an experiment to decide whether or not our hypothesis is true. So, first we must ask ourselves whether or not a certain color of M&Ms will dissolve at a quicker rate than other M&Ms. So we're going to be comparing red and green and orange and yellow and blue. So, what we're going to do, first we must plan our experiment. So, we decided that we are going to have the M&Ms placed on these plates where the dots are, and then pour some room temperature water over the top of them. So we have to make sure that our experiments are fair. So we are going to be doing two separate plates with two different colors to decide whether or not they dissolve at similar or faster rates. So first, we must pour the water onto the plates. We're pouring just enough to make sure that the plate will be covered. This is just regular room temperature water that we had sitting out overnight. I'm going to do the same to the other plate. When we place the M&Ms, we're going to watch what happens for about a minute. So, once the M&Ms are placed, I will start the timer to see what's happening. And we're going to record our observations while the experiment is happening. And so now we're going to start our timer. So during this time, we are going to ask ourselves if a certain color is moving faster. If so, which ones and what do we observe? Or if not, what do we observe? So as you can see, the yellow M&M is starting to dissolve its color. The top is sticking out of the water a little bit, as is the blue, and both seem to have about the same amount dissolved. As for the red and green, we see a similar result. So make sure everybody's writing down that we are observing the M&Ms dissolve. The colors seem to be expanding beyond the circles that they are placed in. So we're asking ourselves, does it look like the green is dissolving faster than this red one? And the same for this yellow and blue. Now the yellow was placed off center just a tad, but it still seems to be, in my opinion, dissolving at the same rate. You can see some very interesting blue and white swirls in the blue one. And the yellow one seems to be more solid and dissolving towards one direction. The red and green seem to be dissolving at similar rates. And we can see now that the color coding on the outside is turning white. We see a much more vibrant red than the green. So I wonder why that would be. It does not seem that the colors want to merge together, though, which is kind of interesting. So after a minute, it seems that almost all the candy coloring has dissolved off of the red and the green ones. They appear to have about similar consistencies on the outside. The yellow, almost all of it is gone that was submerged. And the blue seems to have still a lot more remaining on it. So, looking back, do we think that similar groups had similar results? Well, in my opinion, I think that the red and the green dissolved a little differently than the yellow and the blue. but it seems that they might have dissolved about the same amount. Oh, now the light's coming off. Is there enough evidence from your experiment to conclude that a particular color of M&M moves faster than the other? I think that in order to say whether or not that is true, we would have to conduct this experiment again to see what the control would be. All right. Thank you, class.